is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you're now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And this little episode, this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary Season 4, Episode 2, Ringworm. And we are sipping on grape juice and absinthe. And I might have put too much absinthe in it again this time. So horrible. It's disgusting. Yeah, it tastes like great medicine and shit. Like, anyways, how y'all doing? So we got another episode, and I'm gonna start this episode off with a little story from my childhood, because I was on Gregory's side the whole fucking time. See, I'm itching and shit, nigga. When I was in elementary school, this little girl had ringworm, right? And all her fucking hair fell out, and it was half of her scalp was scaly, and it was just the most horrible thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I don't know if that was actually ringworm, but she said it was ringworm. The teacher said it was ringworm. Anytime it was brought up as to why her head looked like that, it was said that it was ringworm. So that is what I believe ringworm to look like. And I have always been afraid of ringworm. It's gonna make your hair fall out, and you're gonna have scaly cradle crap all over your scalp, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so the fact that this white man was so laissez-faire about this shit and just let this child spread this ringworm across the school like it was nothing. When he was walking to the teacher's lounge, I was like, oh, one of my kids is ringworm. I felt it when that nigga walked the fuck out. Like, I was just like, oh my God. All I could think about was that little girl, her hair gone, it was gone. She had ringworm, it's gone, and it's gonna be me. And then the way the Gregory was just locked in his classroom, I was like, yes, because I'm not saying I'm not a messy bitch, okay? My depression mess is notorious, okay? But I keep that shit to myself. And I got a husband. That's probably going to motivate me a little bit more to do something better about it, because it's a flaw. And, people don't want to live in a cluttery, filthy mess. But for right now, I'm comfortable, and it is what it is. And no, it shouldn't take a nigga to make me want to fix it even more so. But, I've come a long way. It's not as bad as it used to be. So, you know what? The rest of the way to come is going to take a lot of motivation. Anyway, so I'm not saying I'm not a messy bitch, but, I'm going to take that shit outside. I'm going to involve other people in my shit. And I don't like other people's germs and bodily fluids touching me unless you're my nigga or my child or my cat. Because then it's like I've habituated to your bodily fluids. Like, other people, I haven't habituated to your bodily fluids, nor do I want to. No. So, that's like lice and shit. Like, I'm not as scared of lice because I was taught as a child. Black people don't get that because, one, we don't wash our hair as often. Lice like clean hair. And we put a bunch of oils and butters and grease and shit in our hair, and lice don't like that. So I'm not that much afraid of lice. But I swear, for God, people with straight hair, because it's most people with straight hair that can get lice, whether you white, Latin, Asian. They have told me some experience with lice that they've had as a child, and they're just so calm about it. They're just so like, yeah, I had lice as a kid. I did the shampoo, it washed out. And I'm just like, there are bugs crawling through your scalp, bugs nesting in your ear holes while you slept, bugs crawling into your mouth while you slept. You felt them on a regular, and you're not traumatized by this. You're just casually saying it like, oh, I had chicken pox. Like, okay. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe when I was a kid. Like, okay. Oh, I fell off my bike when I was a kid. Like, I had bugs crawling through my hair, and I never understood it. I never let it because, girl, even as a kid, if I got that shit, I would have shaved my shit bald. I would have looked in the mirror and opened my hair up and seen them things crawling in it, and I would have screamed the roof down. I would have been hysterical. So and these are people that like I've talked to people that are like definitely afraid of spiders, roaches, all other type of creepy crawly bugs. But the fact that you had lice as a kid and you're just nonchalant, laissez-faire about it right now as an adult, but like let a spider crawl across your hand and you are jumping into the heavens and screaming to the sky above. Bitch, fuck this girl. Everybody has a different phobia. Let me shut up. I'm tired. Anyway, so and kudos to the Wild Wild West, shuffle they did in the beginning. Yes, once upon a time in the West, there was a bad man in the West, bitch. Yes, that is his best movie. Just like Janine, I don't give a fuck. I did a review on that bitch. That is his best fucking movie. I want sequels. People hype this shit up so we can get some sequels. I want a Wild Wild West 2, nigga. Will Smith don't look too old. Maybe the white dude probably is. You can get a new white dude, just like they got that little Puerto Rican nigga to be his son in the movie that kind of look like Chris Brown and shit. And Bad Boys, 3, 4, whatever the number that movie was. Anyway. And so anyways, like this is the hijinks episode. So we just hijinks ensue. He find a ringworm and then they try to make a plan to keep the bigger kids upstairs and little kids downstairs and to not have recess and all this other shit. And this nigga gonna be bamboozled and talked into by a child to go to the bathroom. And I am just like, you weak-minded white man, you weak. Because he felt bad because he felt like he was locking the kid. There is an infectious disease, sir. This is not about these kids and their feelings. This is an infectious disease, and whatever. It's fine. He's doing white shenanigans. It's fine. It's not my business. So he lets his kids finagles him to go into the bathroom by using Morton against him. You're worse than Morton because, you're locking us up here and we can't go to the bathroom. And didn't they have a bathroom upstairs? Didn't they have a whole episode where the bathroom downstairs was broke and so they had to use the bathroom upstairs and the bathroom upstairs got broke? Didn't they do that? So why are we making this thing where like this kid got to go downstairs? You could have watched him walk to the bathroom and why are we not thinking? Why? Because, oh God, this white man irritates the shit out of me. Jacob just, but that's the role he's supposed to play. I don't know. Like he just, Anyways, he let the kid leave the classroom. The kid, kids lie. Kids be forgetting shit. Kids be, they supposed to leave and do one thing. Next thing they know, they're distracted by 10 other things and shit. So it could have been a myriad of things or all of them. And so he takes a tour of the schools, gives his brother his jacket, just all over the fucking school and shit. And then he comes back upstairs. And then Ava's on the PA talking about the outbreak has spread and blah 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 blah. And Gregory and Janine supposed to have this like movie night or whatever, and I liked it because it showed that like they both got their shit right. It's simple shit. It's not like emotionally abusive shit. It's like he's kind of, Gregory's high strung and Janine is high strung, and they both got different high strungness things. And so Gregory I don't understand why it's bad to be this bothered by getting an infectious disease. I don't care if it's just if it gets in your hair can fall out. Like that whole scene with that little girl when she came in with confetti on her head and all over her and shit into Ava's office. I literally thought that was the ringworm because that's what the ringworm looked like on that little girl's head. And I was just like, she got it all over herself. Oh my God. And he was just sending her back out. And then on the second watch, I realized that it was confetti. And I felt disgusted. I was just like, but I get it. And then like he cancels the movie night talking about, oh no, the ringworm, blah, blah, blah. And so like Barbara sitting up here talking about the blood of Jesus is going to protect me from the ringworm. And I feel like it was a plot from the beginning. Now that I see the end, this bitch is a diabolical bitch. I think she plotted and planned to get the ringworm just so she could go home early and then give it to them evil bitches in the choir. Bitch, what? What? No, I like a diabolical bitch when it's right. when it's right to be diabolical. You're not just being diabolical to nice people and you mad because they nice and you want them to be just as mad and angry as you, and so you just doing fuck shit to people and ba-da-da-da. No, them bitches is evil and mean. I don't know why she continues to allow herself to be emotionally abused by these hoes in this choir, but you know what, give them the ringworm, girl. Do what you and you get to go home early. I don't know who watched her class for the rest of the day, but they didn't show that. But she grabbed her purse and walked out that bitch. So anyways, you know, Janine, like, decides to accept Gregory's quirkiness of, you know, having an issue with ringworms. I don't see what, okay. I mean, whatever. I'm trying to, maybe I'm a little high strung because of my traumatic experience. Like, I was in the whole of 2nd and 3rd grade with this bitch, okay? And she had, her hair was gone and she was coming to school and shit, and we all just normalized it after a while. It may not have been ringworm because her head was looking like that for a minute, but because the word ringworm was attached to it, that's how I've always envisioned ringworm. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't give a fuck what you're saying. So anyways, like, she accepts his quirk, whatever, bitch. And she's just gonna be okay with the fact that he doesn't want to have movie night, even though it hurts her feelings or whatever. And like, towards the end of the show, Gregory first Jacob sacrifices himself. You should, because you let that child dog walk you, nigga. You let the child dog walk you and lie to you and bullshit you and shit. You should be in the fucking gym watching them kids. I don't care. This your fault. You let that child walk down the stairs and get a whole school ringworm. That's your fault. You should be. And he got it all over his body at the end. That shit was nasty. God bless him in the name of Jesus. And so Jacob decides to take one for the team because the kid that originally had ringworm decided to quarantine himself in the classroom, be separate from the other kids. So he thought that was like just magically delicious and wonderful, and just, he was such a brave, wonderful soul. And he was like, I'm gonna sometimes you have to sack. And so this connects to like Gregory deciding to sacrifice his disgust at having ringworm for his relationship. And that was cute because, like, what, niggas don't do that. Niggas will cancel plans just because they want to sleep. Niggas will cancel plans with you just because they want to hang out with their other niggas. Niggas will no, like, I was really thinking about their whole love story and how they met and how they grew their friendship and grew it into some shit like this. And I was just like, this is really good representation, because I have absolutely no idea how to talk to niggas. I have absolutely no, because men are emotional and I am neurodivergent. So I really was thinking about it. I plotted out this whole thing. Like, these are the ways that initially talking to niggas is difficult. So first you got the, what I call the subtles. The subtles include the hoverers, the starers, and the grazers. So the hoverers are those niggas that may or may not find you sexually attractive or some shit like that, and they just kind of hover in your vicinity and you can see them in your periphery. They make sure to be close enough for you to see them in your periphery. Sometimes they'll just be on their phone. They usually are on their phone, staring at their phone, hovering in your periphery, and you're just like, what it... And the first time it happens, you're just like, what is it? But then by the 15th time, and when you've gone to this place or you've been at work or wherever it happens at that you go, you have to go to this place. Like, you don't have to go on a consistent basis. Sometimes it can be like you going just somewhere and it just happens by a stranger. But it's enough to notice. But if you say anything, this group of people will gaslight the fucking shit out of you. And be like, what are you talking about? I was just looking at my phone. And so you can't say anything. And so then you got the starers. The starers will just look at you. They're like the niggas in college that would stand up against the wall and like expect bitches to come up to them and dance on them. They've evolved. The adult 30-something-year-old version of that is they just stand there, distant, close, medium length. They will just stare at you the whole fucking time. And you're just like, what am I supposed to? And then you got the grazers. Them niggas that will get up, walk by you, and make sure that some part of their body touches you. And most likely, they will touch your ass or your titty. And all three of these niggas, if you ask them why they're doing this action, most of the time, they will embarrass the fucking shit out of you in public and be like, what are you talking about? I didn't touch you. I was just walking past you. I wasn't looking at you. You're so conceited. And then you're just like, oh, fuck. Okay. And so, now the starers and the hoverers, they're not always going to make you feel like a bad person. Sometimes they just want you to shoot your shot to them. They don't want to shoot because they got like anxiety or some shit. And for some people, it turns out great. For me, I'm not shooting my shot to no nigga. I'm not saying it won't turn out great. I'm just saying, like, for me, and spending most of my 20s shooting my own shot and getting embarrassed and used and manipulated, I'm not doing that. And also, not to say that if they shoot their shot first, they're going to turn out to be the greatest man in all the land. But if they are a decent man and they do have enough bravery to shoot their shot to you, then it's like you got that extra added leader nigga in them. Like, oh, you weren't scared of me? Like, you let the odds be in your favor and you just, like, took them odds and you got to know me and the odds actually were in your favor because you're cute and shit and it turned out to be amazingly, magically delicious. Wow. And then, like, 9 times out of 10, that because they were already a decent nigga and they also were a leadership nigga because they shot their shot first, that leadership quality will last throughout the relationship. They'll plan dates. They'll fix things. They'll show up for you. They'll buy you shit. Because it was already there. 9 times, not all the time. Okay, there's outliers and shit. Not all the time, but it was already there. So I'm not gonna miss out on that. I need it because it moves. It makes my girlhood all a tremble when you walk up to me and you fine and you look like you got your shit together and you just spark a conversation. So no, I don't pay attention to the hoverers and the starers, and no, you're not doing that. That's fucking weird. And then you got the takens. I'll name these. This is categories in my head. The takens are niggas with girlfriends, wives, and fiancés. The takens do the same thing as the hoverers, the starers, and the grazers. They will hover, stare, and graze. And you know that they have somebody, and you're just like, why? It's basically what it's giving is, I know I could fuck you if I leaned into this behavior. If I leaned into your hovering and I talked to you, if I leaned into your staring, if I leaned into your grazing, I could probably fuck you. It's not that hard. I'm not fucking a taken nigga. Why would I? That's disgusting. I was that bitch. Why would I do that to another bitch? Like, why would I do that? That's fucking weird. Why are you doing that? And then sometimes they don't even want to fuck you. What it is they want some kind of acknowledgement that you like them in some way, in a romantic, sexual way, just so that to satisfy their abandonment issues inside, because you ignoring them has to be about them. And it can't just be that you're disgusted by that, you're your own individual person. No, they've objectified you in their head and said that, oh, she's just playing hard to get. She's just ignoring me because I'm going to make her. I'm just like, and I just, Lord Jesus. Oh, God, save us from taking niggas. And then it's like, let your homegirl have a nigga like this. You can't tell her. You can't, because it's so subtle. Taking niggas usually do the subtle. They usually, but like, there's some that will be obvious, but then it's like, if you don't want them like that because they're taken and it's gross, they basically gonna have to sexually assault you, right? So most of them are not gonna do that. So they're gonna do the hover, stare, and graze, right? And like, if your homegirl got a nigga like that, you can't tell her. You just gonna suddenly not want to hang around her and her nigga anymore. And she's not gonna know why until one day she tells you that this nigga cheated on her with some other bitch. Because a lot of times when a taken nigga is a hover steer or a grazer, they don't want to initiate cheating. They want the other bitch to initiate cheating. And then they lean into that shit. And it's like, I have to be the bigger bitch and be like, because you're not going to watch yourself and lean into the love of your life that you decided to be with, marry, fiance, whatever the fuck. And so I have to be the bigger bitch and just ignore that. Like, I'm not gonna, and I'll tell you what I do with these niggas at the end of this. But basically, like, they're fucking, it's weird. Why are you you need to check your abandonment issues. Bitches ain't moving through life thinking about you. And don't let them be successful. Whether they're in the subtle group, the taken group, or a combination of both. Don't let them be successful, because then they feel like they're entitled. And I live in Southern California, so you run into successful niggas in entertainment, especially, and they're just like doing all of that, and I'm just like, oh, I forgot one. The look what I can do niggas. So them niggas try to get your attention by not talking to you directly. What they do is off to the side, but close enough for you to hear. They'll be loud. They'll be extra. They'll be boisterous because they're trying to specifically get that shit is so fucking annoying. Oh my, just be regular people. If you walk up to me and start talking about aliens, you walk up to me and start talking about anime, you walk up to me and start talking about old Nickelodeon cartoons, books, things like that, I will have a conversation with you. I'm not gonna initiate, especially not with a fucking taken nigga. For me, I try to keep my distance from taken niggas because I don't know. You don't know, because you never know if you're just being a friendly individual. And this is when we get to the platonics. They're the worst of them all. Because taken niggas are bad, because they hurting the person they with, along with stringing along somebody else. But the platonics are the ones that are the scariest, because the platonics will approach you like a regular dude, have a conversation with you, try to get to know you, be interested in seemingly interested in you, and then all of a sudden you having a conversation about Naruto, and then somehow it traverses into him talking about his penis, and you're just like, what? I thought we were. What's going on? Are they trying to like kiss you in the middle of the damn conversation? Like, wait, what? What's happening? And like, if this is started off as a flirty situation, then that's like probably going to be fine. But if you come up to me as a friendly individual and being cordial and nice and things like that, I'm just like, how do we veer off into sexual things? I'm so confused. I don't understand. Like, and then these are the niggas that will be your homeboy for years and shit. So many clients have told me this story. So I'm not pinpointing people. Like, this happens to a lot of people. Homeboy for you, and then one night you sit on the couch smoking weed with this nigga, and this nigga sexually assaults you, and you're just, what's going on? Or this nigga pops up and gets mad when you get into a relationship with someone else because he was never really your fucking friend. He was just sitting playing a slow game instead of just taking an L and taking the rejection if you don't like him. Just instead of saying it off the top when he first meets you and taking that fucking L and shit and moving the fuck on and, being a little sad and then moving on. He's just like, bitch, how dare you be with someone? Bitch, what is you? You're my friend. We talk about friend. And I saw this meme once, right? And it was talking about how, like, niggas don't know how to be friends with women. Men don't know how to be friends with women because basically they've been taught to objectify women and use them for companionship and shit like that. And so they've never learned how to actually be friends with a woman without taking something from her. So they don't know how to just engage with you on a friend tip and not want to have sex with you. Women I can shut that shit off. I just be like, Like, if you're exceptionally attractive, it may take a second for me to shut it off, but I'll shut it off. I'll just be like, no, this is the homie. Like, whatever. We just hanging out and shit. But don't flip. Once we're friends. Don't try to flip the script, nigga. Like, see, them niggas are scary because they act regular and shit until some bullshit happens, and then you're just like, what's And you're just left there, rug pulled out from under you, confused, and shit like that. And taking niggas can do that too. Taking niggas will act regular, like I have a girlfriend, blah blah blah, I have a wife, a fiance, whatever, fuck, blah, 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 and then be your friend and shit. Like they'll be like literally taking niggas will be your friend and then never tell you that they have a partner. Shit like that I've heard. Like what we've been friends for 6 months and you're just telling me you have like a wife? Like, no, because if I had a nigga, like you telling bitches that you're friends with that you don't have a wife, like off top, like you just being friends. What kind of where did you think this was gonna go? Like that you didn't want to tell. See, that's why they're scary. So men's is scary. And so you don't know what it looks like to build a friendship or a relationship in a healthy way with a lot of men. I like black men, so especially black men, like you don't know. So to see them building this situation from start to this is eye-opening. Like a nigga accepting quirks, having a quirk, and then not being weird about it and actually sacrificing his uncomfortableness, because it's, if we're gonna get ringworm, might as well go through it together and shit, and just dealing with it and stuff. And I just you sacrificed your uncomfortableness for me and found out that it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. And I've never seen that. Like when I deal with these types of dudes, like this is why I don't be talking to dudes like that. Like I literally have just, my default when talking to men is to be overly cordial. I found myself saying, "How are you doing?" twice in a row. Hi, how are you doing? Just be nice and then walk away. Well, if I don't have to talk to you, I won't talk to you. Like, especially taking niggas. Like, I don't talk to taking niggas unless I have to be in the same vicinity with them on multiple occasions. And usually, like, they talk to me first, and then I just say, "Hi, how you doing?" and walk away. Shit. If they engage in a conversation, I'll try to engage and leave me alone. But like dudes in general, like I forgot one more category. It's the scaries. This is rare. I've had this happen to me like rarely. So I have this neighbor, right? He's a nice looking guy, black guy. He's like 6 foot something, and like he's attractive, right? And he cute and shit, like whatever. But like one day I seen him and I realized he had a girlfriend, this little Mexican chick, this Latin woman. And like I was just like, okay, well, shut that shit off. Okay, bye. So I don't talk to him. I don't engage with him. I don't say hi to him. I don't actively. One day I was going to the mailroom, ran into this motherfucker. He just happened to be coming out the mailroom. This motherfucker looked me in that, because when I see movement, I look, and it sucks because niggas think you staring at them and shit. I just look. There are things that I do when I'm in my own little world to enjoy my life and myself, where people just think that it's about them or it's about me trying to get attention. And really, I could care less if I get your attention. I'm in my own little world. Like I have my own little quirks. I have my own little neurodivergence. I have my own little stems that I do just to kind of, I realize I hum. I dance when I hear a good song that I like I rock back and forth. I laugh out loud if I see some funny shit. Like I don't give a shit. And so apparently those things can be seen. Niggas like to objectify you and magic pixie dream girl you and shit. And so some of those things are magic trick pixie dream girlish and to niggas. And then that attracts the flies. And you're just like, you're sitting there listening to a song, like totally immersed, and then you look up and here's a hoverer or a starer or a grazer. Grazers usually happen in crowds. Grazers happen in crowds are like if you're getting really drunk or high at somebody's house and somebody's sitting next to you, and next thing you know, you just feel something moving against your thigh. Like that's it doesn't happen like often. So mainly you get hoverers or starers, and then you open your eyes after you've been bopping to a song, and you realize that people are staring at you, and it's like I said, starers don't have to be hoverers, and starers don't have to be bad people, bad men. They could just have anxiety and don't know how to talk to you first. But if they're taking, they're bad people. Why are you doing that? Like that's fucking weird. Like, no, because if you're taken and you just want to be friendly, you would just have a conversation and you would just try to get to know someone and then you would squash it and leave it and walk away. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But no, why are you hovering? Why are you staring? What is... I wish I did have a nigga that was hovering and staring at bitches. And I have to be the bigger person. So anyways, most of the time, I'm just really cordial. I'm just, how you doing? Oh my gosh, wow. Get away from me. So like I have absolutely no idea how to interact with men. Like, especially like a lot of them come off as the platonics. Nice, genuine, regular. And a lot of them will stay like the platonics for long periods of time until you realize that they want to fuck you out the clear blue sky. And a lot of them don't give off hints that they want to fuck you, because usually, like, mainly it's the starers. So men, when they want to fuck you, they look at you like they want to eat you, like, oh, baby, whatever, bitch. And I've had women, like I'm not saying that women don't do shit. Like, women, like, we get clingy, we get emotional, we try to manipulate you with our traumas too, and we cry and use our tears against niggas, and we'll stare and we'll do stuff that's awkward and shy. But 9 times out of 10, if you turn us down, or if you turn us down, we're not gonna murder you, follow you, be crazy, like try to force you to like be with us and shit like that. We'll just leave you the fuck alone. Like, I've had women give, when women have liked me, they give this dreamy, doughy-eyed look, like, you know, and I just ignore it. And when I ignore it in women, they just stop after a while. Like, I had this one bitch that I had the mistake of making my motherfucking friend. And she went from staring to making comments to like grazing, and she kept fucking touching me, and I knew she wanted to fuck me, and every time I was around her, I wanted to stab her in the throat. It's like, she's no longer a friend. Like, I'm not gonna be around this. This is, girl, you gonna get, I will fight to the death. So one of us is gonna get hurt. So, you know, I don't know my prowess in beating a bitch down, but because I've never been in a fight. But I just know that when my adrenaline is rushing, I don't feel pain. I know that, and so, you know, I had to stop hanging out with her. But for the most part, women, when they like me and they realize that I'm not feeling the vibe, I don't want the vagina. Ugh. See, I can't even say, like, just the thought of it. Ugh. You know, like, they just leave me the fuck alone. Like, men will elevate and escalate, and you're just like, you know, so like the platonics, you never know what's gonna happen with the platonics, and we're just gonna focus on the single platonics, because if a nigga's taken, you shouldn't be doing any of those things with other women that is not the woman that you're with. Like, it's fucking weird. It is. It's weird. And like it's uncomfortable. Like, and then it's like you get women in a cornered women that don't want anything from you sexually, especially, and they don't know what to do or how to react around you because you're being weird. And if they call you out because you're so subtle about it, you know, like they look crazy. Like, this is why, like, I really pick and choose. Like, I think I freeze up sometimes. Like, I really pick and choose when I call niggas out on this shit, because I have been embarrassed in front of niggas. Get so emotional and so embarrassing. What are you talking about? I don't even like you, you ugly bitch. And I'm just like, what's going on? I didn't even touch you, you crazy bitch. And I'm just, I wasn't even looking at you. So I just ignore it. Like, I literally will ignore a hoverer and a starer. Like, they are a fly buzzing around until they leave. I will, because I just, and then a platonic, like, I'm just going to say cordial. If you stay cordial, it's less likely for things to turn into some bullshit later on, because you got too friendly and this nigga took your friendliness for, I want to fuck you. That's not what that means. I'm just being friend. No, like, literally, when I like somebody, I spaz the fuck out. Like, I will literally avoid you like the fucking plague. Like, No, because I've had too many bad. I have a lot of emotions to give to a person that I like, and I feel them a lot. And when I have a crush on somebody, I feel those emotions rising up, and I just want them to be satisfied. And there has not been a man that has returned those emotions and satisfied them. And so when I have a crush, I will just avoid you like the plague. I won't make eye contact. I mean, I'll say hi and just scurry away. Like, we don't even continue this conversation. Oh my God, he's looking at me. Oh my God. No, because it's turned out bad. Every single time I've liked somebody, it's turned out bad. Either they don't like me back, which if that's what's just the case, then that would just be a lesson in rejection. Or they take advantage of me liking them, and now I'm in some like emotionally abusive situation, or I'm being used for sex and things. This was mostly I'm 37. This was mostly my 20s. So, that was a time and an age to learn these things so they would stop now, Leave me fuck alone. And, you have the neurodivergency in me. Like, so, how older women be saying, like, men are easy. Like, it's easy to get a man. Like, that's what I heard growing up in my teens and my 20s. It's easy to get a man. And so that fucked me up, too. And then I realized what they were talking about. Because all of these behaviors in these categories are indicative of insecurity. Just like when women do it. We hover, we gaze, we stare, we're clingy and we're needy and things like that. It makes men very easy to manipulate. As long as you play the game that they play, that push-pull, that pretend like you don't like him, pretend like you're just highly focused on yourself and da-da-da-da-da. And then what happens is they're on you like fucking flies on honey. And then what happens is you can get a bag. You can get a bag, maybe some decent sex, and then what happens is you drop them like a sad sack of shit when you're done, or you marry them, and now you got a bag for life. And so these women are saying that it's easy to get a man because it's easy to manipulate a man. Most of them are insecure. Most of them have abandonment issues. Most of them objectify us first. So they expect us to treat them fucked up in some way or to be clingy and needy so that they can like control us through our emotions. They don't see us outside of that. And so it's very easy to play that part for them and then get it back. And they don't realize it because they don't see the humanity in themselves a lot of the time, so they don't see the humanity in us. And so a lot of older women, like, they can get it back. But I see the humanity in people, and I want my humanity to be seen. And a lot of these men don't. I don't want to manipulate a nigga. Like, I don't want to live in a relationship where I'm always have to be on every time you're around. I always have to do some manipulative thing, like ignore you on purpose, or be a bitch to you on purpose, or act like I don't love you, or act like I don't care about you, or act like I don't care that you're hurt or you're sick. Or no, you literally have to do that because there are niggas that once you start liking them, they will like be turned off from you because they have abandonment issues. Like, this is what that is. This all that is whether they've been emotionally abandoned or physically abandoned or both. All that shit is when they chase you because you don't like them is abandonment issues. Somebody has hurt them. Somebodies have hurt them. And so they have put that person on you subconsciously in their nervous system, and now they're treating you like the person that hurt them. They're trying to fix themselves through you, just like women try to fix themselves through niggas. They try to fix the person that originally hurt them through niggas, whether it's your daddy, your mama, whatever, whoever it was that made you feel isolated in this world and not able to express who you were, or express your emotions, or whatever the fuck it is. It's fucking weird. And so, like, these niggas will make you feel like you're crazy, and they'll make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And so it's easy to play that part for them. Like, I could easily just turn it on and play the simp and be like, oh, and then ignore you, and then be like, oh, and then ignore you. Like, it's not that fucking hard, because I was the fucking simp in real life. I know what it is, and I recognize myself in my own insecurity in niggas. I just don't go as far as like stalking or like controlling or like trying to say I'm gonna kill myself, and I'm not, like I just and so like being this way and expecting openness and honesty, I feel like is a part of my neurodivergency, and also just probably being an Aries, and also probably just who I am as a person. And so like I don't get it. Like, I literally don't get it when these men approach me in these ways. Like, maybe other women do. Like, some react to it by getting a bag. Some react to it by falling for the okie doke and becoming needy and pleady and all this other shit. I used to fall for it when I was in my 20s and become needy and pleady, and that was who I was. But then when I realized what was actually going on, I stopped doing that shit because that's fucking stupid. And now, since I don't do that shit, like be needy and pleady and all this other shit, like I just ignore it. Like I don't know how to talk. Like I literally am afraid to like a man because I feel like it's gonna turn out bad like it has in the past. And yes, I need to work on myself. It's trauma, blah blah blah. But I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us are afraid to interact with men because we don't know what category we're gonna get. We don't know if they're actually gonna return our affections. We don't know if they can have a regular conversation multiple times and just accept who we are like we accept them. Like, I will accept you. I will accept that you're weird. I will accept that you're quirky. I will accept, as long as you're doing things to work through the flaws. Like, if you have anxiety, like, have you seen a therapist? Like, I'm not about to sit up here, you having 5 panic attacks a day, and you refuse to go see a therapist. You refuse to go be on medication. You refuse to do anything about it. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I will support you through, like, you're treating yourself, and you still have like 1 panic attack a week or some shit like that. That's usually how it looks when you're going to treatment and you're helping yourself. Now there's extenuating circumstances. Like if somebody gets cancer, like I'm gonna have to be the bad bitch and caregive you all the way through that because I love you and shit, whatever, bitch. But like that's usually not a whole lifetime thing. Either you gonna live through it or you gonna die. But from the beginning of the relationship all the way to present, I have to deal with you not doing nothing about your shit and being a bitch the whole time. Girl, when I'm actively over here, like I said in my last video, trying to fuck my best not to cuss you the fuck out for doing just simple annoying shit because it bothers me. You over here not even trying for me? This nigga tried for her. He said, okay, I don't like ringworms and shit, bitch, but I am going to sit through this. And he even got ringworm and shit. And it was just like, and she didn't ask him to. The thing is, she was trying to be understanding, even though it hurt her feelings. She also was trying to be understanding, but you got to validate both. Like, yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks, but like, he has his quirks and I have to be understanding. And she would have lived the rest of her life. She would have been the one sacrificing for his quirks because she's that type of bitch. But he said, no, let me bring it in because she would sacrifice. I think that's why he did it too, because he knows that she would sacrifice her wants and needs for his disabilities and shit. And so he said, no, because she does this for me. I needed it. Girl, so beautiful. Wow. And it's a simple little episode. You thought it was just about ringworms, girl. Girl. I think the drink is making me emotional. Shit, like that was so beautiful. I've never in my life experienced anything like this. I just wish men would just be normal. Just have a conversation. If you like someone, just say you like them. Like, oh, I seen you over there. I thought, and if they don't like you, take the L. Like, I'm not a rude bitch. I'll just be like, oh, no, thank you. But, I'm really flattered. I'm not going to embarrass you in front of me. Like, did some bitch do that to you in high school? Are you still mad about elementary school? Are you still perturbed about middle school, honey? Because, honey, that ain't gonna keep happening and shit. And I know I'm a hypocrite, but I still put myself out there and I still try, but I'm not shooting my shot at these motherfuckers. You need to be a leader. You need to show me that you're aggressive. You didn't come up to me and have a motherfucking conversation and stop being a scary bitch. Because I'm not going to do it. I don't care what you're talking about. You're speaking different languages. You're stupid. But other women will. You should go. You should go and hover and stare around them and shit. Cause I'm not, and I just feel upset. Like I just feel upset that they're just so complicated. They can't just have a conversation with you. They can't just come up and talk to you, and then they leave it up to you. They try to leave it up to you to talk to them. Like I'm not doing that. I don't care. Like if I see you a bunch of times, I'll say hi. How you doing? And I'll be about my day, my business. I will dissociate. Like literally, when I walk through the world, if I'm walking into a place that like when I go to the chiropractor. And like I'm walking into the car, I'll say hi to everybody. Hey, what's blah 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 blah. But like once I say hi, I'm dissociated. You don't exist anymore. I turn that shit off. Like it's just been practiced into me to do that. Like you don't exist anymore. I'm in my own. I'm looking at my phone. I realize that everything I do, I've had to like mold around my fixations. So like the way I dress based on how much I can fixate into my clothes when I need to. Like my nails, I wear these things so that I can fixate into my nails. I can make noises with them. I can look at them. Look, they're like metallic and shit. So like when you put them in a light and shit, they like do the mirror and they shine. Right. And then people give me compliments. I practice trying to accept compliments, and I just say thank you and shit and then move on. People give me compliments, and I just be like, it doesn't hit because I just feel like I did this for me. Like. Not that I won't take compliments, not that I don't see the value in compliments and that they don't feel good or like they kind of do. It depends on who it's coming from and whatever. I don't know. Because I don't like compliments. It's hard. It's difficult when you're not used to it. And then like you grow up and you get healed and shit. And now people are giving you a bunch of random ass compliments, but not trying to like rape you and shit at the same time. It's not a backhanded compliment. And so you're just like, wow, they think that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Magic hug. Shit. And so like I just moved to like, and like I said earlier, it's like they think that's the magic pixie dream girl shit. I get so many starers and hoverers and shit because I'm a dark-skinned black woman with kinky hair, but I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. And the thing is that they know I'm beautiful, but society, because they're insecure. See, that's why I need you to lead. That's why I need, because you're insecure. Society is telling you that you need to treat me like I'm fucking ugly and I need to be hid in the closet and only taken out when you want to put your dick inside of me. No, nigga, I'm not accepting a nigga like that. I will be paraded in front of everyone. You will be proud of me. You will love on me. You will give me my aesthetic of Russell and Sierra, but even more, bitch. Like, nah, nigga, like, you gonna come up to me, bitch. And if you don't want to, then we not meant to be. Like, we're not meant to be. I had to learn that we are not meant to be because you got me fucked up. You got me fucked up if you think I'm going to bow and scrape to these niggas that I don't even know if you're secure enough to have me on your arm. I don't even know if you're secure enough to like see the beauty in me past sex and the way I look. I don't know. So that is the first step to letting me know. That's the first step. And may the odds be ever in your favor because I am picky and I do love a beautiful man. I'm fucking stupid that I love a beautiful man. Oh God, I can't do ugly niggas. Like, I love a beautiful man. Like, you know, be at least my height and just take care of himself, skincare and moisturization. And, you know, at the very least, you don't got to be, because maintaining a muscular structure is difficult. I've learned that by watching documentaries about what these niggas be doing in the movie industry to maintain the muscular structure. And I'll be damned if I have my nigga walking around sick and shit. At least have a dad bod, you know, some nice arms, some nice legs, and a stomach that matches. And it can be a little chubby, but you know, like, but it's not like I drink a lot of alcohol, so I'm swollen. My stomach is bigger than the rest of I can grow into shit, but then I'm not about to allow my nigga to get sick and shit. Like, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work together to get you back. Like, what do we need to do? See, this is why I need a nigga that will be on my level, because I go overboard with trying to care. And the thing is, I'm not clingy or needy about it. It's more so that I feel like we're one. Like, I make sure you okay. Like, you need to be okay. You need to make sure I'm okay. Like, we're okay together. We're not gonna dishonor each other. Like, because as soon as I trust you, I think this is part of my neurodivergency too. As soon as I trust you, the gullibility and the naivete turns off, and I do not even consider that you would cheat on me. Even though I talk all this big talk about niggas are cheaters and blah 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 blah, like, I literally will not even, I'm not gonna go through your phone. I'm not gonna think about, you tell me you're working late, I will believe that shit until I get solid evidence or your patterns change to a drastic degree. And that's why it pisses me off, because I believe it. I was watching this TikTok video and they were saying, like, neurodivergent people, like we've learned the script of what manipulative tones of voices sound like, right? But it's hard to decipher when you're being manipulated when somebody says something in a nice way. Because I remember, so for example, right? I was at Disneyland a couple weeks ago, right? And this was my October Disneyland visit, because I go once a month. And so I was in this, like, costume that's supposed to look like Laura Croft, right? That I got off of this website and shit. And it had the little, like, leg things, straps that strap to your hip and to your thigh. And it had, like, these little pockets for, like, knives and shit. It was little fake shit. So I'm standing in line, right? This lady, one of the security ladies, walk up to me because I'm standing in line waiting for the tram. So I already got through the security. So I'm standing in line waiting for the tram. If you know Disneyland, you know what I'm talking about. So, like, she walks up to me while I'm standing in line waiting for the tram, and she just nicely asks, what are these for? Pointing to the little knife pockets on my thighs. And I'm just oblivious to the racism, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like a costume. And she's like, but what are these pockets for? She asked me a second time, and I was just like, oh, this is supposed to be like a Laura Croft costume, and so, like, and she's like, oh, okay. And then she walks off, right? And then 5 seconds after she walks off, I realized I had just been racially profiled. Because the pockets were like these little rubber plastic things that were obviously empty, and you could see it from a distance or close up that nothing was in them. And I just realized 5 seconds after she walked away that I was being racially profiled, and I felt so, but I feel like I've tried to make it a positive to where, like, I feel like because of the height of my emotions that I can get when I'm upset, Jesus be trying to protect me from cussing people out and going to jail or getting kicked out of all the Disneylands in all the world. Because once you get kicked out of one Disneyland, no, bitch, this is my happy place, okay? You gonna leave me the fuck alone? We ain't got much in this bitch. I'm tired. They killing these babies over this bitch. That man burnt to death. I don't care. This is my happy place. You gonna leave me the fuck alone? I go once a month. Once you get kicked out of one Disneyland, you gonna get kicked out of all the Disneylands in the world. You remember them black bitches that were fighting at Disneyland, that whole family reunion situation? They was fighting in the middle of Disneyland or Disney World, wherever the fuck it was. Them bitches got kicked out of all the they can't go to any Disneyland in the fucking So I feel like Jesus saves me, for just like Barbara said, God saves me from He does, because if I had been cognizant in the moment of what she was actually doing, I would have looked at this bitch and been like, fuck you mean? Just the fuck you mean is gonna get me kicked out all because I'm a big black bitch. Like, fuck you mean? All the Disneylands in the world. So he saves me by making me so gullible that if somebody says something nice to me if somebody says something mean to me or manipulative to me in a nice way, I will be standing there like, oh, well, maybe he's concerned. And that is how I was in a 7-year-long emotionally abusive relationship. So, like, I guard myself well because I know my vulnerabilities. That is a vulnerability. And if I let the wrong motherfucker in, bitch, he will destroy my whole fucking life. He will. He will. He will. Just like that fucking ringworm made that little girl's hair fall out. So, no, I'm not going to be sitting up here just allowing any and every nigga to intrude. Like, I'm not, because you're not gonna destroy my world. Like, you seen that show on Netflix? It's gonna be a long video. I'm talking, I don't care, this shit is bothering me. You seen that show on Netflix, My Crazy Ex? There was this one dude on there that basically this nigga was like walking around saying he was a cop, right? He was a NYPD. And so he met this other bitch, right? Like, he met this bitch and she was like believing him. She got, her whole family believed him, and it was like a whole thing, and da da da. And so come to find out, one day this dude's wife, because he was married the whole time, lying. See what I mean? Platonic. They come up to you regular. And how would you know? How would you know? How would you know? This dude's wife calls this woman talking about he's been married for such and such years. He's not really an NYPD. I think he's a private detective or a private eye or some shit like that. He's not this. He's not. So she breaks up with him because he was lying the whole time, right? This nigga comes back to her house later, rapes her, and then when she tries to put him in jail, this nigga goes and gets his 2 or 3 cousins to lie on this bitch and say that she pretended to be a police officer and pulled them over and stole money from them or some shit like that. And so then what happens is the police put her in jail for 7 months, and she had to be there trying to prove that this nigga was the one that was actually doing shit. She lost her business. She lost her house. Because who's going to pay? Who's going to keep her shit up? Like, you know, I think her family was immigrants and shit. Like, who's going to do that? Like, everything she built up from scratch, she lost because of, girl, nigga come into my life and make me lose my license for therapy that I worked 6 years to get. 9, no, because I was lax when it came to my hours. So, like, I graduated in 2011. I didn't get licensed in 2017 because I got too comfortable at my job and shit. But, like, no, like, it took me that long. It took me that long. And you just gonna come into my life and tear my world apart because of your insecurities? Like, these niggas get mad at you if you made the eggs runny and shit. Like, you need to watch this show on Netflix. It's called Woman of the Hour. It's about Rodney Alcala and this serial killer that was in California, right? But it's from, like, the women's perspective. And you can see these women will go on dates with these men, right? And, like, say some simple shit. Like, let's say, like, he tried to flirt with her and say something interesting, but it was actually stupid. And, like, she's not really with it. She's like, whatever, nigga. Like, this nigga, shut the fuck down. Like a toddler. Like a fucking toddler. These niggas be doing that. See, the platonics. Let's go back to the platonics. Or no. The platonics, the starers, all of them. All of them, except for the grazers. The grazers got some other, that's sexual assault, nigga. You on another level with that. But all of them, if you don't feed in to what they're trying to do, so either they'll escalate it and some shit may happen, and then now it's fucked up a situation that you had, like you can't go to this place anymore, or you at work and now you risking being fired because your boss is crazy and shit like that. Or what'll happen is you've been cordial to them so many times that now this 20th time of just saying hi, hey, how you doing? Now they're cold. And they're just like barely saying hi to you or looking at you mean and shit. And you're just like, what? But see, that's why I try to stay cordial, because if I stay cordial, I don't get emotionally connected to however you feel. And I'm just like observing this, like, see, so I've had so many opportunities because I don't get emotionally connected to men. Sounds horrible. I just have like, you can't get me to that gullible place unless I'm emotionally connected to you or I'm not paying attention and I'm thinking about something else. That's how that woman was able to walk up, because I was thinking about the tram coming. I was excited for Disneyland. Like, why is she talking to me? I just wanted her to leave me alone so I can keep waiting for the tram to get on the tram and go to Disneyland. Like, why are you talking to me? So, and usually me not paying attention doesn't work with like niggas. That doesn't work with men. So I have to like you as a man. I have to like you. I have to be actively interested in you emotionally for me to be that naive and that gullible. And most of the time I don't. Most of the time it's just like, you know, whatever. So it's just me observing. It's literally just me observing. And it's been this way for years. Like, ever since I was 33, I've just been like emotionally disconnected from men and just observing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even when I go on the apps, if I match with some nigga, I'm just like, today I matched with somebody today, right? And I was just like, I'm just going to be completely myself and scare him, bitch. Scare him. That's what I told myself. This way, me being myself is scary. Like, it's scary. Like that neighbor. I think I forgot to finish that. That neighbor. And we ran into each other at the whatchamacallit, at the mailroom, right? I make eye contact with him just a little bit. This nigga looks at me with the fear of God in his eyes. I just was like, why is he? I just glanced because some movement happened over. Oh God, is he scared of me? Like, are black men scared of black women? Like, what? That scared to make it that obvious in public? Like, he was like, oh. I was just like, and he had enough time to, because I didn't, like, he had enough time to see me coming, right? Because I saw him walking towards me out of my periphery first. So he saw me, right? So by the time I made eye contact with him, it had been at least a cool 30 seconds, right? And so he was like, oh. And I was just like, so I didn't jump scare this nigga. So I'm just like, so some niggas are scaries and they will show the intimidation they feel for you on their face. Because I literally don't even talk to, I don't care. I've excommunicated him out of my head since I saw him with his partner. I don't, you're the neighbor that lives down the way, like just like all the other neighbors that live around and down the way. Like, and it's just like, observing niggas makes you realize how much power you have. But is manipulation really a power? Because basically that's the only way you're gonna have one. But that's the only way you're gonna have one, because you're not gonna have one that genuinely likes you. Okay, you're gonna have one that's gonna act like love potion number 9, or like that nigga that got the love spell on the craft. Because you're not interested in him, it's just gonna get more and more worse. The more you treat him like shit, the more worse it gets, because they're insecure. And so it's just a waste. Like, it's a waste of time. And so, like, yeah, you got the scaries. And so anyways, it's just hard. Talking to men is hard. It's difficult. I have absolutely no idea what it looks like to talk to one in a friendly way, to talk to one in a flirty way. Like, they be talking about be sultry and shit, and I just be like, so you want me to mask and pretend like I'm sultry for for this whole date for like 2 hours? Like, you don't want me to talk about anything that I find interesting? Like, these women be on these things talking about you gotta do this, and you gotta, to catch a man, you gotta wear the right colors and do the right, and that'll catch him. And I'm just like, but that means I'm treating him like he's an object, and I don't want to do that. I want to treat him like he's a person and just talk to him regular, and then see if he'll talk to me regular. What's the big deal? Because they don't do that. Now women have felt like, oh, well, I guess we'll just have to objectify and manipulate them to get us. I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I want a fucking human being as a husband. Like, not some nigga like on a craft that if you ignore them enough, they may like hurt you or some shit. I want you to know that I like you. You like me. Like, we're just happy. We just enjoy each other's presence. And that's why I like this shit. Like, I like it. Like, it's like, oh, they enjoy each other's presence. Like, he's sacrificing shit just because he knows she would do it for him, and so he's doing it for her. And just because that's the type of person he is. Not just because she would do it for him, but that's just the type of person he is. That's the type of nigga he is. And I was just like, that's magical. That is the most magical. But anyways, this was a good episode. I went on and on and on and so I just, but yeah, I was saying like on Hinge, I just was like, fuck him, girl, fuck him up, make him scared, make him scared, and so that's what I be doing on dating apps. I just be like, that's be my complete, and most of the time people unmatch me because I just go on and on about some topic, and then they'll just start to dwindle and stop talking. And they'll go away, and I'll just be like, well, maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe it was just me being me and they were intimidated by me because I didn't push you away. I was just nice and cordial and talking about something I was interested in, and you felt freaked out by that. So that's none of my business. I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. I wasn't pushing nobody away on purpose. The right man is gonna love it. The right man is going to love it, bitch. And it won't stop. It'll just keep going to the day we die together, like the Notebook. But anyways, so I thought that was beautiful that he would sacrifice for Janine like that, even in a small way. Like who does that for dark skinned black? Who does it? Who sacrifices like that? Was magical. And Wild Wild West, nigga. Like, can we get a sequel? Can we? Will Smith, it was a good movie. Fucking Eddie Murphy, Vampire in Brooklyn was a good movie. Stop listening to these fucking white people. Stop trying to be as close to whiteness as possible because you think it's going to be better. It's just going to be like when that bitch in Lovecraft Country put on them white people's skin and realized they were evil within themselves. They did it to themselves first, bitch. And then she was just like, is it worth it being able to sit on a bench and eat ice cream at the park? Is that really worth it? Because when me and my homegirls hang out, we don't talk about filleting human beings. We talk about the latest dance. Like, we might cuss out some white people. Like, fuck old Jimbo over there. He's a bitch. But then we move on and talk about the latest music and the fine ass nigga that lives down the street, down the lane and shit. Like, we don't sit and have full on conversations about filleting humans and cutting them open and stringing them from trees and nigga this, niggers and niggers and you stop it. You don't need to be with these people. They have epigenetic trauma that they're not claiming. And then when you have some shit and you are in denial about it, that is when you are your most dangerous. That's why they're about to blow up the world. They're going to kill us all with global warming and nuclear bombs and all sorts of shit. Just for like, literally, I was talking to a client today. And I was talking about how how we could all work from home, right? We proved it during the pandemic. The only reason we're not is because they're scared of business, market crash, like the brick and mortar market crash, like the business buildings. Like, if you don't buy them for business, then they're just sitting empty. And literally you could use that for like homeless shelters. Most of downtown LA could be like free housing and shit. And you use the money that you would pay for the brick and mortar and funnel it back into your employees, and then your employees fund the economy, and the economy gets better. But no, instead of seeing logic, what they do is, because they are mostly white people running these companies and they have epigenetic trauma, so a lot of them are narcissists and sociopaths because those are trauma responses. And when you lead your culture by power and control and killing and murdering and maiming motherfuckers, then a lot of your people are going to end up with narcissism and sociopathy. They say, no, fuck them. You need to suffer just like we suffer on the inside every day. I want my money. I don't want to give it to you. You don't deserve to be happy. I'm not happy. Even though I try to act like I'm happy and I'm better than you. But thinking you're better than somebody is not being happy, bitch. And it's exhausting, and I just don't feel like it. So, if y'all could just find a way to just make sequel, it's a simple ask. I'm not asking you to save the world or do anything, humongous and things. I just need you to make sequels to Vampire in Brooklyn and Wild Wild West. If you could, because those movies deserve sequels. They were made for sequels, and I just, So kudos, because that was amazing. It was magical. Did a little ditty dance. It was, oh shit, I didn't mean to say that, but I did a little dance. And it was magical. And I need to get off this fucking shit. I danced and it was magical. And so, but yeah, let me know what you think of my breakdown of episode 2. It probably was not even this deep. But, it felt deep, so I said it. Let me know what you think. And I hope you keep watching and you watch my other videos. And kudos to the person that to the people that are binge watching. Someone comment they binge watching. Like, wow. That's amazing that I'm binge watchable and shit. Thank you. That's magical. But yeah, I hope you keep watching. You watch the other videos and you find joy and peace in your world, and find happiness in yourself and love yourself, and stop putting your shit on other people and assuming people are moving and grooving through the world based off of what you think. And just ask. Just have a conversation, and if they don't want to talk to you, leave them fuck alone. Like, I don't bother people. You know why I stopped? Where I learned, I think I was traumatized into this, where I learned to mind my fucking business. Because I was nosy when I was a kid. I was nosy as fuck. One time, one of the cast members from Family Matters came to my church, right? It was the light-skinned girl that was like Waldo's girlfriend. The one with the gap in her teeth and shit, the buck teeth. And like, she came to our church, right? And I was like, this is cool. She sat through the sermon, nothing was happening, it was cool and shit. And I was like, well, maybe I'll get an autograph. This was in the age of when I went to Disneyland and got the little autograph book from Disneyland. I was carrying around my little children's purse and shit. And I was like, I'm gonna get an autograph. This will be cool. And so after church, these motherfucking kids, I swear, every child in that church swarmed this woman. And I was just standing there off to the side watching as she couldn't get up from the pew before every child in that church formed a swarm around all the pews, a full big ass circle of people around the pews trying to talk to her and get her. And I was anxious. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I looked at her face. She looked scared as fuck, but she was trying to pretend like she wasn't. I knew that young that she was pretending. And I was like, I never want to be involved in that. I never want to do that to somebody. I think that's where it clicked on for me, that people are separate from. Now, I haven't always like acknowledged that, like, cause niggas, but like, for the most part, like, that's where I learned that people are separate. Like, they have their own feelings and emotions, and you can't. I didn't even go up to them. I didn't get an autograph. I was just watching off in the cut, all these people swarming her, and I was just like, this is the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life. And then one time when I was 8th grade, right? This is before like emo was like a real big thing, and even black people were doing it and shit. So like, I was in 8th grade, and this new kid in the middle of the semester came to the school, right? And he was like a full goth, like chains and all this other shit, white makeup, black lipstick, all this other shit. And like, I seen him around school, and I was just like, oh, okay, I watch movies like The Crow, and I seen movies. I know these people look like. It wasn't that big a deal. One day I just happened to sit by him at lunch, because it was like this big ass tree with a planter around it, and like kids would sit on it for lunch. And so I was sitting by, because I couldn't find nowhere else to sit, I just sat there for lunch. And so I was just sitting there. I didn't even say nothing to him. I was just sitting next to him and minding my business. And then first one kid comes up and starts asking him questions about everything he has on and who he is and what he represents and shit. Then the next thing it was like a fight happened. There were so many kids. They were all surrounding us, and I was just sitting there like, and I was looking at him, and he was just answering their questions calmly. Like, and I was just like, So I think I vibed off of his calmness, and I just tried to stay calm because all these people, they were surrounding me too, because we were so close together, because that was the only seat on that little planter thing, and it was like a bunch of kids sitting on it, and so like they couldn't get between us and shit. So it was just so horrifying. It was the most and then so I've seen it and I've been in it. There's like people are ravenous. They're ravenous. They want to eat you and shit. So I just learned to mind my business and not treat people like they're ornaments or their material objects or some shit. Like I just learned not to go overboard. At least in my 20s, I learned enough to at least not do it in public. So now I'm for sure about it. Now I'm just like that. I just like, I see like people in famous niggas and shit. Like women and I just ignore them. Cause they're people, and I don't want to, like, it's cool. Like, I'll be like, oh look, like one time I saw Niecy Nash at Disneyland, and I just looked at her. I was like, oh look, that's Niecy Nash. And then I just went about my day, like, oh look, it's Niecy Nash, whatever, nigga. It was on Thanksgiving too. I was like, oh, you know, these famous people coming to Disneyland on Thanksgiving. Oh God. It's nice, you know, coming out celebrating at the theme park and shit. Why the fuck not? It was about my fucking day. I didn't try to figure out where she was at and follow her around and be a fucking weirdo and shit. I'm tired. Yeah, you just be like, oh, and then you move the fuck on. Like, I don't understand. Like, because I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of people. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm going to avoid that like the fucking plague. And so, and also just because like, I'm not going to make other people feel that way. Like, I don't want to, cause that's not a good feeling. I don't want to make you feel that way. Like, that's fucking weird. And so I'm just going to like ignore you and move on about my day. I might look at you and be like, oh, see, look, it's like Pops in Boondocks and shit, when Riley painted that picture of him and his wife on the wall and shit, and he took a picture of it and he said, paint over that shit. That's how I be when I see like famous people and shit. I'll be like, there's a picture taken in my mind of this moment, it happened, and then I'll be like, let's go. So it's just like, that's how I learned how to mind my business, because that shit was horrifying, especially being so young and seeing people swarm her like that. I was like, is she gonna be able to get out of all them kids? Like, what is she gonna have to do? And she was just like this, like, oh yeah. He was just sitting there like, oh yeah. I was just like, she looks so like she's in so much pain. That's so painful. I hate that for her. I do indeed. So yeah, you know, I just try to mind my fucking business and shit. I don't know why I started talking about that for some reason, but whatever, nigga. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my review. And, you know, keep watching. It's going to be some other shit on here, too, and shit. My Instagram is down in the description box, because I'm not editing that shit on its. And, you know, wait, is there something else? See, look, stupid ass. Anyways, later days.